And welcome back. We are here for a very, very exciting matchup. We are watching Kid and TheBusiness try to hold on to their season against an undefeated Celo and DudeFromBrzl. We are here for Game 4. Yes, definitely Game 4. We are here for Game 4. Elimination threat game for Kid and TheBusiness. They started so strong. They were taking out everything in Game 1, just completely owning it, making DudeFromBrzl and Celo pay for their mistakes of having a late rush, and they have just not been able to get it together since then. Games 2 and 3, we just saw Game 2, they just took too long to build up an army, and unfortunately an enormous Zerg swarm came in and ruined all of their dreams. And in Game 3, we just saw, unfortunately, just them being completely out-macroed, surprisingly. Kid, being such a huge fan of macro, just took way too long to expand. Business was never able to get an expansion in that game, and unfortunately they were just partially starved to death and out-harassed, as their armies just paled in comparison to a double Zerg team that for most respects had almost, 3-4 bases apiece. It was pretty staggering. So here we see the typical scouting here. Ruins of Tarsonis, a very short map here. And, this could possibly be the graveyard and ruin of Business and Kid's season. So they are trying to do the impossible, of course, trying to usurp a undefeated team. They themselves breaking even, barely making the playoffs to begin with. So even if it all ends here, you have to wonder if they're just happy to even have made it to the playoffs. They literally came within one game of elimination. They had to play an entire, sudden death matchup to try and even make it in here. And we see a very private conversation going on, and it looks like Celo lost that conversation. That probe is either his enemy or his wife, one or the other. But he is definitely going to run away from that and go back to the mineral line where all the other drones would be much nicer to him. And there we see Kid is going to hang out. He will, of course, unfortunately be spotted by this Overlord and probably not be able to do anything shady. So everything on the line. Kid and TheBusiness have to win this game. What are they going to do? So far, they're doing exactly what they've done every other game. The only difference, hopefully, will be that they can do it a lot faster and a lot more deadly than they did the first time. DudeFromBrzl, of course, staying alive in this base, trying to keep an eye on everything. Kid matching him. And you see Kid just kind of roaming around here uncontested, not really trying to do anything. We see Celo going for an expansion, taking advantage of DudeFromBrzl's kindness and putting that Overlord there to make sure that he is not being attacked. We also see DudeFromBrzl keeping an eye on the back wall here of Kid's base. His kindness knows no boundaries. And, of course, a pylon just kind of stoically standing here watching guard over these rocks. Amazingly, DudeFromBrzl not keeping an eye on his own rocks. So he's basically watching everyone else except for himself. We do see some lings coming out here, and these lings are going to finally try to kick Kid out of this base and say, listen, you've been here long enough, you don't pay any rent, you don't clean up after yourself. I'm always the one doing the dishes, so it's time for you to go. And Kid will now also retreat and just kind of run back here to these zealots, which are back to back, literally almost back to back here, holding onto this wall. We've seen a lot of wall failures from Protoss, and oh my goodness, that could have gone very badly, very, very badly, Kid. Got to put him on hold there, buddy. And we see some extra gateways coming down here. And we see lots and lots of gateways. Hopefully we will not see them take forever to build a lot of gateways and get an army up and running. I still see them here on one base. They do not seem to feel comfortable expanding on this Zerg army. Celo, DudeFromBrzl, very comfortable expanding on the Protoss army. Basically expanding without fear of anything here. And if we take a look at the scouting, you'll see that they've done a pretty good job keeping an eye on things. And when we take a look at the reverse here, they've done a pretty decent job as well. They are fully aware of this, at least one of two expansions. So they've done a pretty decent job. So the scouting is on par for both, but we just don't see them trying to press in here. And if we take a look at the unit tab, you'll see that 4 zealots and a single stalker. Other than that, the economies are fairly even. DudeFromBrzl kind of falling behind, though. It looks like he may be going for, a power roach build here. It's a little hard to tell. You know, this resembles a lot of different builds that we've seen from him so far. So, you know, it's a little too early to tell, but at the 7-minute mark, if he's going power roaches, it is one hell of a late build here. But he is definitely behind on income. We take a look here, and he is at a staggering 500 mineral count, only 16 workers. I mean, Celo is beating him in worker count, you know, and Celo is usually the one who builds more units, and, you know, it's almost like they're taking an inverse here. We do finally see, though, some expansions going down for the business and Kid. Excellent choice, gentlemen. And the Green Bay Packers advance one rung further on their base, and now have a much larger ramp to try and deal with. And we do see some Zerglings there having a disagreement with this Zealot. Unfortunately, Zealots don't really argue too well. And we see another pack of Lings starting to form here at the front of the base. Excellent Xel'Naga coverage from Celo as usual. And you have to wonder what's going through their minds at this point. You know, they're on Ruins of Tarsonis. They're in a pretty comfortable spot here. 2-1, up a game, 1 game away from the finals. They definitely want to win this. And, you know, they know that Business and Kid, you know, need to change things up a little bit. You know, they might have to play a little outside of their game. See a Suicide Lane coming in here, and what they're going to see is a mix of Zealot Stalker, not anything that they are completely unaware of. We do have layer tech, so they could very easily go back into that Mutalisk Corruptor build, and it looks like DudeFromBrzl is looking to do that. And he will most likely at least go Corruptors, fully expecting some kind of Colossus build to come out of here. But I believe we do not have any Corruptors. And look at this, a Zealot, well, a Zealot in disguise roaming around here from this Overseer. And this will definitely give them the eyes they've needed. And they've done such a good job with these changelings. This changeling is, I guess, could have used a little more time in the oven, and is getting a little stuck there on that building. But these changelings have done such a good job scouting out these bases. You know, just look at these routes they're taking. I mean, they're just keeping an eye on everything. And right now, they like what they see, because what they see is no Colossus. Now, granted, Kid, being a big fan of Colossus, may just say to himself, you know what, Jesus, those things are so expensive. You know, I could have used the extra units. I would have built Zealots sooner. You know, the other Colossus didn't really do too well because they were just so many Corruptors. So he may hope that DudeFromBrzl is just going to build these Corruptors and just kind of make them go to waste here. We do see Kid sending this Zealot, most likely to see if they had a base over here, but it doesn't look like he's going to get that view at all. We do see Celo starting to scout out this base over here. So, you know, we are seeing some good positioning here, but a good old-fashioned macro game is what we're seeing right now. We do see now a pack of Mutalisks on the fly, and a few more on the way as well. 8 Mutalisks total, and we see them starting to rally over here in this corner. However, Kid does have a lone cannon down, and here come the Mutalisks, and they're going to go ahead and try to do some damage, but unfortunately, I guess one cannon is enough to scare them off, and they will instead try to go for the Twilight Council. And we do see a pack of stalkers here going to try to stop them, and you know, say, hey, you know, stop it. You know, I want blink. You know, damn it, stop me from trying to, you know, get my upgrades. These Mutalisks, of course, roaming away. The Changeling is finally dead, and we do see a lot of Zergling Roach starting to pile up here. No Hydralisks, amazingly. You know, we haven't seen a whole lot of Hydralisks in this matchup here. And you would think, with all the stalkers, you'd have Hydralisks, but they've been making it work with Roach and Ling. Roach Ling, there we go. I knew I'd find the word. So Roach Ling has been working pretty well in this game for them. You know, they really haven't needed the Hydras all that much. They had one game that they were pretty successful with Hydras, and you know, other than that, they really haven't needed too much. We do see these Mutas, though, definitely getting their money's worth, trying to take down these rocks. It's going to take a while, though, with Mutas. They should probably use these Roaches instead. You know, DudeFromBrzl not in any rush. Look at the income tab here. See DudeFromBrzl staggeringly behind everyone else. Business doesn't want him to feel alone in the, you know, I haven't built enough workers club, so he's going to go ahead and build a little bit of workers too. And you see DudeFromBrzl just uncharacteristically behind. Meanwhile, Celo leading the pack. That's amazing. Definitely going to have to ask him about that afterwards, because that is just very uncharacteristic. And here we go. This could be the change. We see Kid going with High Templars. Now, if he's going for Storm, which he definitely is, it is under research, almost completed. That Storm is going to be a huge difference maker. It can counter the Mutas. It can counter the Lings. It will definitely put a dent in the Roaches. And it will obliterate Hydras, which, you know, there are no Hydras. And, you know, also very useful against infestors. And we do see an infestation pit here. We also see Burrow underway. That should be very interesting. And we see Business doing some great scouting here, basically looking at all the armies. He sees it very Ling heavy. Now, of course, that is, you know, well, I hope to God this isn't the whole army, because this is not looking very good at all. We do see 2 Archons out that will help with the Ling problem, but you want to get some Storm in there as well. And we see 19 Stalkers here, and we see some Lings rolling in here, taking advantage of this all-Stalker army here, and they're just going to go ahead and blow right through this and say, oh, thank you very much. We will go ahead and stop you from expanding on this base. And we see some Hydras coming out. Last minute build there, dude from Brazil, you sneaky bastard, you. And these Hydras are going to come in, and simultaneously, it looks like Celo, they are splitting their armies up. This is an incredible, incredible matchup here. They're going to make this very small Protoss army make a very tough decision here, and this is starting to look very bad. This is for the whole season here on the line. Dude from Brazil and Celo going for the kill on this attack. We do see the Business trying to fight this off. Unfortunately, there are just way too many units here. These roaches putting a hurt on them, and it looks like all the storms coming down, but they got a little too close, and that single storm was not enough to kill these Hydras. That one armor worth every penny, keeping those Hydras alive, and all hell is breaking loose here in Kid's base. The entire season just melting away. Kid and the Business trying to also hold off these roaches here. And there's the GG. They're just not even going to try to prolong this. And unbelievable turn of events here. And just when you think they're going to try to do something different with some High Templars, we had a complete abandonment here from Kid. The Business still trying to fight it off. What a trooper. Unfortunately, there's just nothing left to fight here, as the unit count is just staggeringly against them. Dude from Brazil and Celo have all but clinched this. It is only the Business now that is, you know, I guess, I don't know, trying to grab a souvenir on his way out, because it just doesn't look like there's going to be much he's going to be able to do here. You know, these roaches are just going to continue to just bolt away at all this. Not really any production underway. The Business, I guess, just kind of hanging out. And there's another GG from the Business, and the Business finally leaving, having grabbed his souvenir. And wow, what an incredible series here. Just when you thought it was going to go to possibly Game 5, such a strong showing from the Business and Kid early on in that first game. They just could not recapture the magic. You know, it was like they had a one-day pass at the Magic Kingdom, and unfortunately they just had to settle for the water parks after that, because everything just went downhill from there. And unfortunately, this is the end of their season. However, a tremendous congratulations to Dude from Brazil and Celo. The undefeated season lives on, and they will meet Foil and Crump in the finals. That matchup will take place sometime next week. Please stick to VanquishGaming.com and our YouTube channel, Vanquish Gaming League on YouTube, and you can catch some updates there and find out when the finals will be scheduled. We want to thank everybody for watching. This was a very exciting series here, and we look forward to the ultimate of ultimate finals, as two very storied teams with their very different stories face each other for the ultimate prize, the first ever 2v2 Vanquish Gaming League champions.